specifically focused on Brisbane's cultural precinct and events. The artists associated with the Queensland Performing Arts Centre, the State Library, the Queensland Museum and the nearby art galleries. The show was broadcast on Arts Queensland's own online station. It was a valuable stepping stone for Izzy, and she loved it. So proud of her achievement in simply landing the job. She ordered the chair and had it shipped from the US as a gift to herself. It was where she sat to read scripts, her research notes, the newspaper and books for her book club. She'd been known to nap in the chair too. "Izzy," Tracy said gently, "are you sure?" Izzy looked with nausea at the half-eaten Mars bar and Sultana sandwich over on the breakfast bar, something she assumed came from what were known in the pregnancy world as cravings. She'd also been drinking more water and was wanting to eat oranges and pickles at odd times of the day. 3 pregnancy tests and some symptoms, she said matter-of-factly. "So yes, I am sure." "Who have you told?" Izzy could hear Tracy's mind ticking over, going into damage control, as was her job when things didn't go to plan. "Just you?" Izzy's voice quivered. She could feel her tear ducts beginning to fill. "What about your mother? Because if you've told her, then we may as well say goodbye now." In her mind's eye, Izzy could see Tracy pacing the mezzanine floor of her office and running a hand through her thick black hair. "You know the Koori grapevine will be spreading the news like there's no tomorrow, and there'll certainly be no tomorrow for your career if this gets out." Tracy was the only black agent in the country, and she knew the value of confidentiality on every level. Izzy knew she had to appease her, though, aware her anxiety levels would be rising. "I haven't told Mum." Izzy couldn't fathom telling her mother. It was a call to Mudgee she wasn't willing to make just yet, and maybe never would. Trish wanted to start knitting booties whenever Izzy told her she was simply going on a date. She'd buy up the whole of Baby World if she thought there was actually another grandchild on the way. More importantly, Izzy's mum had never forgiven her only daughter for breaking off her long-term engagement to Jack, the perfect son-in-law-to-be, because she wanted to have a career on the screen and not in the school canteen. Izzy knew that her mum had completely disowned her now if she chose a job over a child. And Trish would never approve of an abortion, or of Izzy being an unmarried mother, not as a Catholic, not as a woman wanting more grannies, and not as a Wiradjuri elder conscious of the role women had in growing the mob. Izzy and Tracy were both avoiding the subject of a termination in the conversation, and it was one that Izzy was trying not to think about at all. "What about the father? Have you told him? Do you know who it is?" Tracy's questions came bullet fast and hit Izzy just as painfully. "Oh, for God's sake, of course I know who it is." Izzy thought back to the last time she'd seen Asher. It had been 4 weeks ago, and they'd loved each other more than usual because he was going to Townsville for 6 weeks to train young Murray wannabe chefs. She smiled, remembering the glow that had lasted the entire next day, but then remembered the condom that had somehow disappeared, needing to be retrieved with some skill and a lot of giggles. The penny dropped, and so did her chin. "Izzy?" Tracy pressed down the line. "Well?" "No, I haven't told him." She was suddenly consumed by nausea and wasn't sure if it was morning sickness or fear causing it. "Good. Don't tell anyone else. Keep it to yourself for now," Tracy demanded, taking control of the situation. "I have to go to a meeting. I'll call you later." She sounded businesslike, but she was worried about her client, who was also a friend. Izzy's career was important, but so too was her emotional and mental well-being. As if reading Izzy's mind, Tracy added warmly, "And don't beat yourself up. That won't help the situation." The phone went dead, and Izzy put her head back against the cold leather of the chair. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath in through her nose, sighing outwardly through her mouth. Her iPhone alert went off. It was a text from Xanthe. "See you at book club tonight, 7 p.m. The last thing Izzy wanted to do was see Xanthe. How could she sit there and listen to